Hi friends. Introducing the Artistry palette number 4, Elevate, a palette of 15 pressed pigments. Pressed pigments as opposed to eyeshadows where you find in the Intensity palette. Therefore, you can rely on Elevate to provide that dazzling finish with the Transcendent. I'm going to say Transcendent in how you pronounce that word. I hope it's correct. With the metallic rose underneath, you could also cocktail them with Intensity 2 if you like. As these palettes are magnetic, you can see the big holes in the back, easy to dislodge the pans, mix and match as you like. You could also mix Elevate with number 1, Balance, if you choose to mix the textures together. Elevate retails for $120, I know, but it's made in Italy. And the finishes are quite lovely. I'll take you through the swatches and the demo for all shadows in number 4, Elevate. You'll have the timestamps down below as well as the chapters here on the time bar if you wish to skip over to a specific portion of the video. And I do have an affiliate link for number 4, Elevate. If you choose to buy through my link, I do earn a commission, but I wanted this video to serve 2 purposes. If you're looking to save and you have metallic shadows already, the number 1 purpose I wanted this video to serve, sure, if you have your eye on Elevate, how can you use it? How do the swatches look like? And how do these shadows apply? Number 2, if you have similar shadows in your collection, how can you rely on metallic finishes to create a complete eye look? I know some of us might feel still intimidated by metallic finishes, iridescent finishes, and relying on those textures alone to create a complete eye look without having to apply a matte shade. And it can be achieved, especially if we're speaking about the Elevate formula. Incredibly creamy. This metallic finish has a beautiful adherence to it where it can easily be picked up with a brush, and you'll see here I'll also post on the B-roll what brushes I use for the demo so you have a better idea of what brush you can use in your own collection. Primarily for the metallic shades, I use my worker brush from the Sonia G Lotus collection, a shader brush with nice density, flat size, and a fluffy edge where you could take the flat side of the brush, run it across the shadow, and get great pickup so the color is rich on the application, but you're also to move it well across the lid and the crease with the same brush. And because of the high pro content in these shadows, they're smooth on the blend, and you don't necessarily have to use a matte to create that gradient effect across the crease. You can run the color through your crease and lightly toss it up towards your brow to create that soft blur effect, even though you're dealing with a metallic shade. So you'll see that in the demo, as well as me layering a bunch of different colors together and textures together. So let's start with the first row. And my apologies before I forget, with the release of number 4, ESUM also released their pen liner illustrator. This retails for $25, a felt tip ink liner, beautifully smooth. And we'll get into the demo as well. Not only do I have it here on the eyes for this look, but I used it to apply a wing on 2 looks and used it for a beautiful Tinkerbell inspired wing. You'll see that in the video. So let's begin with the swatches. I'll begin with the first column. The first shade we have Omega, which is the Transcendent Light Cool Pink, Cosmos, the Metallic Medium Cool Pink Red, and Scorpius, the Metallic Deep Cool Maroon. I took Scorpius with my Lotus worker because I thought using a dense fluffy brush would be an appropriate type to pick up this metallic shade. Creamy and a little tight in the pan, but beautiful pickup if you run the brush across the shadow and take your time building up the texture on your eyes. And it has a smooth finish, especially if you blend it out. And that's why I wanted to use the worker brush from Sonia's Lotus set, because the flat side of the brush will pick up that metallic shadow, but the fluffy edges will then carry the shadow nicely through my crease, blend it out, and have a blurred effect, which I love using metallic shades for. And a one and done moment, if you wanted just one shadow for the eye and you have that metallic shade, but you don't know how to apply it or what brush to use, definitely using a denser brush with these metallic finishes can yield a beautiful eye look, especially especially because the pearl content in the shadow allows for that smooth blend on the skin that could leave behind a beautiful blurred but sheen finish that it doesn't appear flat on your lids. Now with a reference number 2, picking up the shade Cosmos, I placed that color on the inner portion of my lid, and of course it has a beautiful light pink texture that I think paired well with Scorpius. And taking a blender brush just so you can see that, again, because of the pearl content, you can manipulate this metallic formula in a way that blends beautifully through the crease, not necessarily having to reach for a matte. And this brush in particular, I believe, is a squirrel goat hair blend, so it has a little bit of an aggressive push when it comes to blending. I wouldn't necessarily rely on a squirrel brush with this type of texture. Something with a little more strength, I think, will help carry the color nicely through the crease. Followed with the Pencil Pro in the shade Omega, and the Transcendent formula in the number 4 Artistry palette is superb. It's lightweight, but it has beautiful shine and that wet, glassy effect on the skin. You can also layer it on top of any of the metallic shades in here for an extra pop of color and also to amplify the shine. And although you can see that pink flip in the shade, I just adore the lightweight texture and the fact that it has such incredible shine and it not dry. These are quite creamy and almost has a translucent feel to the shadow. It has great adherence as well, so if you fear that these shadows will have fallout, or perhaps you have smaller eyes and you don't know how well these will not transfer on your lids, I think you'll be pleased with the formula in that it will stay well wherever you place it while providing that beautiful dazzle on the lids or wherever you wish to have that highlight effect. Next row we have, and my apologies, I started with the metallic color, but we have Eros, the metallic deep warm bronze, Solaris, the metallic medium warm red brown, and Eclipse, the Transcendent warm gold peach. I picked up Eros with Sonia's builder and decided to set up a halo eye, placing Eros on the outer inner portions of my lid and also carrying it through the crease, but now going in with my Lotus Worker to further blend the edges. Next, going in with Solaris with my Pencil Pro and pulling that across the lash line. I adore, you know who I love, a red bronze shade along the lower lash line. I know it can't be hit or miss depending on your skin tone and your eye color. You could be giving dead, sickly, ghoulish eyes, but listen, if you could get away with it, I would consider this application. Next, with my finger, I decided to go in with Eclipse because the Eros bronze shade bracketing the brightness of Eclipse, which I think appropriately named, and just look at the shine here, incredible. And I continue to tap with my fingers to further blend the edges so that Eclipse would smoothly go into Eros in a undisturbed fashion, in that it was just seamless in that application. And then I applied Eclipse on the inner part of my eyes for the highlight. And before I went in with the pen liner, just wanted to show you how these shades appeared on the eyes, then proceeded to build my wing. I particularly like the stiffness of the felt tip on this pen liner. Not too flimsy, but not too stiff either. Quite inky and draws well on the shadow where it's not going to appear dull on top of the shadow, and I thought fairly easy to build my wing with. Applied some lashes, and now here are some close-ups of both the pink row and the bronze row. I absolutely adore how my eye looks turned out, despite the fact that I applied 2 metallic shades and one of the Transcendent shades. It just has a clean look to it. It's elegant, and although glam in terms of the finish and the final product, I think it's still accessible and approachable. And I find that these textures were beyond easy to work with. They were easy to blend and layer over each other. Something I find that an advantage when using metallic shades and shimmer shades because of the pearl content and that could be just that translucent nature about these finishes, you can layer them without the look appearing muddy in the end. Unlike matte shades, you could run the risk when cocktailing too many colors together, it just look heavy on the eyes and muddy when you haven't applied the right color science. But when you're dealing with the shiny shades, the risk is much lower, and I feel you have a wider spectrum of creativity to rely on when tossing on different colors, different finishes, again within the realm of the metallics and the specialized finishes. You can have a ball, have that shine, dazzle, but also it be easy to achieve at the same time. Going into the Tinkerbell row now, first we have Venus, a light neutral green opal, Comet, a metallic medium cool green gold, and Nebulous, a metallic deep cool emerald. Ooh, this row was fun to work with, and I decided to take my worker in with Comet, brushed it all across the lid, and I loved the finish of this green. It had just a fresh spring feel to it. Not only did I apply it all over my lid, but I tossed some here under the lash line. Then I took Nebulous with my Pencil Pro. This is the beginning of the wing saga, okay? I first started with my Pencil Pro, wanted a little more color, and then went in with my Tauhaus P09, which is a smaller, denser brush, which will yield better pickup and also precise placement on my lash line. Then I decided to wet the color because I wanted more intensity, and it was cute. The wing was there, and then I proceeded to go in with Venus to add a little bit of highlight because I thought it was done. And I was like, you know what, you're not done. Take that wing liner, pull it across what you just did, but then tap on Nebulous. This is where your pen liner or any kind of wing liner you got comes in clutch if you want an intense looking metallic wing of whatever color you wish to apply. I absolutely loved how this turned out, and the fact that I already sketched the liner with shadow, it made it easier to follow with my pen liner. So something you can do, you don't have to go in with the pen liner first. You could use shadow, draft it out, follow what you did with the pen liner. It'll be far easier to follow and to stay and have it appear all together when you're done. Stamp on that shadow and just look how beautiful Nebulous appears on top of Comet, right? You have that beautiful emerald color juxtaposed again that lighter green hue, and then I popped on Venus on the middle to again give it that extra gleam on the center of the lid. Oh my goodness. Now I cheated on this next round because I combined the purple and blue rows, so allow me to take you through these swatches. First we have Aurora, the light cool lilac, Nova, the metallic medium cool violet, and Abyss, the metallic deep cool indigo, followed by Lyra, the light cool blue, Sirius, the metallic medium cool aqua, and lastly we have Vega, the metallic deep cool azure. In order to economize my time, I decided to apply both the purple and blue shades on one eye. I started with the Pencil Pro, picked up, I believe it was Abyss first, the deep indigo shade, and I sketched out a rather rough wing outside my lid and went in with Vega to layer on top. With my builder, I went in with Nova on the inner part of my lid, decided to go in with Sirius now on the inner arc. So I overlapped Vega to have that beautiful teal color on the inner part, or excuse me, cool aqua color on the inner part of my lid so you can see it, and pulled, I think either it was, let's see here, it was Abyss or even Vega across the lower lash line, one of those shades to create the smoke. And here I went in with my Tauhaus P09 with the color Lyra. I believe I applied that on the inner part of my lid, and same brush with Aurora, that cool lilac shade, on the lower inner part of my eye. And I decided it would be fun to apply Aurora on my brow bone. It could appear frosty, but because of the lightweight nature of these transcendent shades and that they don't have a heavy base, you could wear these on their own and they create just a beautiful twinkle effect. And I took this with my worker brush, so quite a dense brush for this task. I could have applied it with a much softer, smaller packer brush, but it's all good. I loved how it turned out. And then I went in with my lashes for both looks. Look at this wing. Look at the Tinkerbell eye, friends. I cannot stand it. I love how, although it's all green, I think this can just be beautifully daily friendly. And you could skip that green altogether and just go in with your metallic wing. What a way to go, right? If you wanted to glam it up for daily wear, not keen on wearing something on your lid, but you're gonna get crazy on the lash line, this is the way to go. Or you could take Venus on your lid and then go in with the emerald wing. So many ways to go. It's just unbelievable. And I kind of love what I did with the purples and the indigos and the teals. I think it turned out well. Why not? Like I said before, because of the metallic finish with these shadows, you can cocktail it up, layer it up. They're soft, they blend well with each other. It won't appear muddy. Sure, maybe applying the teal with the more bronze red, you could still make that work too. You know what? I should just try it myself. All that to say, despite how intricate these looks appear, I thought they were quite easy to achieve, especially with the wing metallic liner. My goodness, all you need is that pen liner and you can apply any shadow in your collection. If you have a duochrome, a multichrome, or any of these transcendent type of finishes, slap on your pen liner first, the inky one, and then tap on whatever shadow you like, and you'll be able to achieve whatever color wing liner you like. And for the video, I wanted to give the violet and blue column their own eye. So here you have the azure side and the violet side respectively, and the pen liner for my wing on the lash line. And again, I was reminded of how fun it is to exclusively work with metallic or iridescent shades just by themselves, and to experiment with how you can achieve high glam or subdued glam with these finishes and it be easy at the same time. And again, because of the creaminess of these shades, to place down a base metallic color, it's just the way to go, especially if you're one and done type where you're not looking to apply 5 shadows on one eye, but you still want something on the lids that will leave behind a sheen that will not appear flat. The metallic shades are the way to go. For instance, if I were to pick up Eros, you can just see how easy it is to blend out. And despite how intense the color may look in the swatch, see how you can blend it out to soften the finish, but you can also build intensity if you wanted. You can have that intensity on the center of your lid and then blend out the edges in and closer to your crease, closer to your brow bone to create that gradient, followed by, with one of the iridescent shades, tap it on whatever color you like and look at that effect. See how beautifully shiny it is, but detect how lightweight the texture is, and look at that adherence. You can't detect, I don't think you can, any dryness whatsoever. It just applies beautifully to the skin and melts with any of the metallic shades you decide to apply them on or with. I had a blast using this palette. If you wanted to quickly compare Artistry to Intensity, this first row, primarily satin, right? So this is going to give you more of a softer finish. It's not going to have the same twinkle effect as the tridescent shades. Then you have the chromatic row, which might have a little more gleam and pop than your typical metallic, right? This is one of them from Intensity. So you have, I think, a little more pearl there, or just multicolored pearls in the base, whereas on the last row, purely metallic, the same metallic formula. I'm assuming just based on what's listed on ESUM's website, this is what you also find in the Artistry palette for both rows 2 and 3. Transcendent shades you find here in row 1. So, and if you have number 1 and number 2, forget it. You're gonna go crazy. You're gonna have an absolute ball, because remember, anytime you have a black base, and in this case it will be your pen liner, it will amplify whatever color or finish you choose to apply on top. And because the pan sizes are the same, you can customize these as you like. You can even customize your matte shades with whether your chromatic metallic shades, your satin shades, or your transcendent shades or metallic shades from your Artistry palette. And they are, as you can see, they correspond well color wise. So you can have a blast whether you want to combine number 2 and number 4 with number 1, however you want to do it, you're able to easily, because again, the pan holes are quite large. You could just use your finger to dislodge them. You don't have to rely on a pin or on a small spatula. Let me know, fam, what you think about the new ESUM Elevate Artistry palette. You have it on the way, or you have number 1 or 2, or maybe you enjoy the techniques I shared in this video. I'd love to know down below. And again, thank you to the ESUM team for sending Elevate. I will see you down in those comments, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, number 4 Elevate Extravaganza, or perhaps we'll apply all ESUM palettes in one video. Take care, and I will see you again soon.